Hello and welcome to another episode of Citadel Guard Adventures. This is Beriathan of the Citadel Guard of Gondor, and today we are ready at long last to enter the raid, the Folly of Nagakhêdi. Once again, I hope I can get a group for this. I still need to gear up, so I think I will need to wait a little bit longer, but what I can do in the meantime is advance the quest, meet Faeron outside the entrance, actually enter the instance to open up all the deeds, so that we can check them real quick before we do the actual run, and also so that when I finally get a group and enter the instance, I don't get overwhelmed by an insane amount of deeds popping up all at once. That's the plan. Gotta be careful. I'm not sure. I really didn't pay attention if there is any enemy in this area in here that could still be the nemesis and elites that we face on the dailies, because well, this is a portion of the map where you do the dailies. But this one being so close to the raid and having a quest that you need to complete in here, maybe doesn't have those enemies there. And it's something that can be done easily solo. Anyway, the Folly of Nagakhêdi. Here we are. And yeah. Here we have Faeron and Rhadhrog and Irsinith. Oh, cool.
What do you need?
This is it. A grand entrance to what was supposed to be a grand work of man. We will see how near it came to completion in its interior. I am surprised Bisnack did not want to accompany us, but then again, I believe he would rather avoid crossing paths with the Lady of Blight a third time. The Kintai were alarmed to hear we intended to enter, and made sure one of their own was among our number. The Warden Irsinith volunteered to accompany us. I am glad for their expertise in fighting this particular corruption. When you and your fellows are ready, we will enter. Let us hope our search for the source of the blight is nearly at its end. I do hope so as well. Faeron. I also hope so. Because for the blight it's nearing its end. But we're gonna enter and see what happens inside.
For over 100 years, the Kintai elves had bettered a mysterious blight, seemingly brought on by the din of stone. It has already consumed once beautiful Adagím, and now threatens the rest of the elven glades. An investigation by the rangers Faeron and Rhadhrog have tracked the source of the blight to the Folly of Nagakhêdi. But what dangers lurk inside the ancient and abandoned wonder?
We're about to find out pretty soon, but we do have the new deeds. Deeds of the Folly of Nagakhêdi, complete tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. And well, each one of these is just defeating all the bosses at each tier. Vanquisher of the Folly of Nagakhêdi, Blightbane, Scourge of the Merivile, and Mushroom Connoisseur, which is a little bit lame for a meta deed on a raid if you ask me, but that's just me. Anyway, now we are ready to run the raid. So I will be back with you as soon as I have a group ready to tackle the Folly of Nagakhêdi. Right, forgot something. Well, not forgot, I just didn't know this was gonna happen. But there is some sort of cutscene drama right here at the start of the raid that I think it's better for me to show before everyone else enters in, so that we don't miss anything what happens here. A wonder of the ancient world, How long has it been since anyone has tried this hole? The blight is everywhere in here. It coats every surface. You're right, Ranger. As we cross the threshold, I could feel the air choked with foul spores. We may indeed be closing in on its source. Hold on. On your guard, something approaches. Intruders! Sisters, blockade the hole. Uruk-hai, dispatch this vermin should they break through. They can summon the blight at will? Rhadhrog, did you see the emblem on their shields? Aye, the heraldry of Lhaereth the Stained. Do you think she is here? Does she mean to weaponize this blight somehow? There's only one way to find out. We must find a way past this wall of blight. Right, we have thwarted her plans before, we can do it again. Are you with us, Irsinith? For so long, I have felt nothing but helplessness in the face of this blight. We Kintai have attempted to cleanse it for over 100 years, to no avail. It is a powerful foe, and now you say an ancient enemy from the time of Morgoth may mean to seize it for her own evil aims? You're right to be apprehensive, but to do nothing in the face of evil grants it the victory. The enthusiasm of men is nothing short of inspiring. We must try. I will be able to break through this wall, but it will take time. You must defend me while I concentrate. That's the spirit. In the meantime, see if you can find another way. The passage there looks unblocked. Alright, that's it for the sort of introduction to the raid. And afterwards, we would enter through this portal. And there is a big corridor that we must traverse. Well, this is where the real fight starts. It's about to begin. So I'll be back with you when I'm ready with the full group to start fighting our way through the Folly of Nagakhêdi. Alright, so you are with a group. Start traversing this corridor hallway. Because you can imagine, by the looks of it, we're gonna be fighting some spiders first. Just waiting for everyone to get in here. We are not full yet, as you can see. We are still missing a couple people, but we can start clearing some of these mobs out while we wait for everybody else to get in. Right, a quick cut in there while we waited for everyone to get inside the raid. The group's still not full, but again, we can just take care of these mobs, and we'll complete our group before facing the boss, so it's not a big deal. As usual, this commentary is recorded after the fact, because I prefer to focus with what we're doing in the raid, and I also need to pay attention to the indications from the leader and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm recording this after completing the raid. So I sort of know a little bit what's coming on in advance, not too much, because I missed some of the story beats because I was more focused on the fights and where to go and everything. So I might be able to experience some things firsthand as we record this and fully understand some of the things that I might have missed before, but you still get the idea. An important thing here is to see what actually happens inside the raid related to the Blight and finishing the storyline that we started in Adagím. There's a second wave of enemies in here. Nothing too special as far as I can see. Just bodies standing in your way to the first boss. And there we go. Well, here we are. Again, not a big deal, these spiders, at least not tier 1. The one that is in tier 1, as you can see. There's a lot of bubbles in the raid. I don't know. It seems the king likes to get as many bubbles out as they can. Just for funsies, of course. And they don't seem to affect the performance in any way, so... just having some fun while we make our way through. Fireworks and everything. By the way, as of the time of recording this, we just got a new Balrog round announcing that on update 48, a lot of fireworks are gonna become bubbles, and I cannot tell you how happy am I to free up some backspace on all my characters. That's gonna help with management a little bit, so cannot wait. Okay. I think this is the last wave before the boss. I'm not 100% sure. Maybe there is another one. Oh yeah, it's again, at least on tier 1, not a big deal. Just fight our way through, defeat all these spiders, and make our way to the boss, which, as you can probably guess, it's another spider. I mean, the raid has been out for, what, a month already? 2? Don't remember exactly, but I think most of us already know, or at least in some degree already know what we can find inside this raid. But in case you don't know, I'm not gonna spoil the big surprises because, wow. I had a lot of fun with this raid, I gotta tell you. And that's in part due to the fact that most of the kin was doing this. One more wave. Most of the kin was doing this for the first or second time. So there were a lot of us were still learning. And even though this is tier 1, it was still a challenge for many of us that are still not properly geared and that still need to remember the mechanics and the positioning and all the strategy overall. So it was a lot of fun being able to learn the raid with the king and seeing all of us improve as we kept going. So it really did remind me of the good old days, me tanking the Isengard instances when we were just progressing through as well. Had a lot of fun with this raid, and I think it was in part
Lady of Blight calls.
due to this fact.
Join us willingly or serve bound by blood. Hurry, sisters! Intruders approach! The Lady of Blight calls to you!
Here we see the introduction to the boss. The Merivale trying to
Forgive us, Mother. We have
control the
failed.
spiders is what I think this is.
I was a disappointment to my mother as well. I did not come and go. But her voice is so quiet now. No matter. More food for me.
So this is the first boss, Badral the Gorger. As you can see, she didn't come when Shelob called all the spiders back to the Morgul Vale. So throwback to that moment of the game I thought was really cool, and also a way to justify her presence in here, which is also a very nice detail. Something that also surprised me about her is that she talks. And I think we have found some talking spiders before, but not that many. Of course, we have the base on the books, on the Hobbit. Bilbo can hear the spiders talking in human tongues. But the game does not do that much, so I thought it was a really nice detail that they did this with this boss, because this also makes it a little bit more personal, this fight. There are a lot more stakes involved when you know who she is, why she is here, and all that. So yeah, I thought that was a really nice detail. Right now, our leader is explaining the boss what we need to do. I don't know what I keep opening the map. Yeah, because now the group is full, so we have some people that went back to guide the new people into the raid. Anyway, it's gonna take a while for our leader to explain what we'll need to do inside and what we'll need to do in this fight. So I will just cut to when we are ready to actually do this fight. It seems we are ready now. We did have one wipe, so yeah, this is just the good attempt. I did retrade a little bit to get the no respite for the wicked trait, so that I can apply an incoming healing debuff on the boss, because at some point some other spiders are gonna come in and try to heal her. I really don't remember much what we need to do about the eggs, because that's not something I was in charge of. So yeah, as per usual with many raid fights, there are many moving pieces, and the raid needs to be very coordinated to take care of them all. So again, I was not in charge of the eggs. I think you need to destroy some of them. I was just burning the boss as fast as I could, making sure that the incoming healing debuff was up. I mean, all classes that have an incoming healing debuff need to apply that on the boss before the spider that heals her reaches her. So for Wardens, not a big deal, because you just need to keep refreshing your debuff with your gambits, but you can keep it up at all times. Basically, it's really not that difficult. But some other classes that need to time their debuff for the cooldown and everything, the leader needs to call out when that's going to happen, so that everyone can apply the debuff on time. That's basically it. And there we go. But there's a lot of debuffs that I can apply to Dragon, because I can apply mark on the diminished target for the mitigations. And here I am making sure the incoming healing debuff is already up. And then I start applying some of my other debuffs and dots. and just follow the target assist. When in doubt, just follow the target assist as usual as well. Does summon some ads, but again, I'm not in charge of dealing with those ads. The eggs and everything. He does apply that here. Can't pot it. So I'm not sure still how you avoid that one. Not a big deal. We did pretty good, I would say. Just making sure, yeah, my debuff is up. Switched to Assailment because, yeah, the distance, the range was a little bit tricky for me. I mean, I thought I was right in the boss's face, but some of my attacks were still out of range, so at some point I said, well, forget it. I'll just switch to Assailment and be done with it. Some poison puddles that you need to move out of. And again, it's still the king. This was the king's actual second run of this raid, and the first full clear, so of course we are still making mistakes. Some people still went down, but thankfully we were able to recover and get back on track. Yeah, these bosses have insane health pools. I mean, we have reached a point once again where we are facing insane health pools. I don't know if we are gonna be facing another stat crunch soon, but I think we need another solution for this, because we got a stat crunch in what? Hundabat? And we are back to the point where we were back then, just full level kills. So we do need something else. And of course, this wouldn't be a Beriathan raid video without me dying at some point. To my defense, I would say on our first attempt, I didn't die. We got to a point with so many other people were there that we said, well, let's just reset this fight and try again. But I didn't die that one time. I did die on the second one when we actually got the boss. So, well, just a consolation prize. And of course, I go ahead and die immediately after getting rest. So in a way, you can say I am compensating for not dying before. This was embarrassing for me, I gotta admit. Because, yeah, we did have some people dying, but I think I'm the only one who died twice in here, in this boss. Not even sure there isn't a third one. And again, this is so embarrassing. At this point, not getting a res because I'm not entirely sure, I don't remember. Maybe there was a res available, but of course there is a priority, and we need to make sure that there is a res available in case one of the healers or the tank or one of our other reses goes down. So you all need to have a spare, basically, to be able to do some of the other reses. So that's why I'm still not getting one. But spoiler alert, I will get the rest just in time. The only thing in here, yeah, there is a race. The only thing is that Well, I was down for quite a long time, so my incoming healing debuff expired. Although at this point, I don't think it's such a big deal. She is almost down. And I'm just going as fast as I can to reapply it, just in case. But she's basically down at this point. Oh, well, one of our minis went down, but the boss is already down, so no big deal.
Irsinith is breaking through the Blight. See if you can find a way back.
We are ready to go back. Just gotta loot the chest. See what we get. I didn't get anything good on this one. It was a little disappointing. But overall, I think I did get pretty good loot throughout the raid. So I'm not gonna complain over much for this one. As you see, there were 3 blighted relics. It's just that I only got a ruining here. That one was disappointing, but there was lots of loot, purple and teal. And there are still 3 more bosses to go through, so still plenty of chances to get good loot. So, if I understand this map correctly, this wing of the raid loops on itself. So you get back to the entrance without a lot of backtracking, no further fights either, and then you just go back to the central wing, so to speak, and there's some more drama that happens afterwards that we are gonna see in just a moment. But this is something that I also enjoyed about this raid that I'm not sure if it happens on the previous ones.
Irsinith has cleared a way through on the other side.
The moment that passage was unblocked, Morval and Uruk-hai poured through.
Be careful. More of Lhaereth's forces may be inside. Rhadhrog, perhaps you should go with them?
This cavern is immense. How deep does it go? The men building the wonder must have accidentally broken their way in. Then I suppose the Blight forced them to abandon it. Aye, good idea. Keep Irsinith safe.
Yeah, she's still opening the way to the deepest parts of this place. But in the meantime, we gotta fend off the Uruks that are coming through this other side. But what I was gonna say that I enjoyed about this raid, that I'm not sure if it happens on other raids, because it's been a while since last I ran one of those, but it's the fact that when there is an important event, some piece of dialogue, even if you're not in the room, you can still hear it. So you might not be able to see it, but at least you don't miss what's happening. And that will be important for the last boss. But I guess we'll talk about that one when we get there. For the time being, we are making our way through to the second boss. And I'm just checking if maybe I want that ring that the Cappy is offering, but I think I passed on it. Now on this one that we will be facing plenty of odds before the boss as well. You gotta prioritize the troll, the demolisher, because he will stun the group, and that is an induction that cannot be interrupted unless you miss the troll. So yeah, the troll should, the demolisher should always be the priority on this one. I do remember most of the mechanics, I hope. It's not been that long since we completed the raid. But there were some things that were not fully clear to me, and some things that I might have forgotten. So I will do my best to explain as much of this as I can. Walk you through it. Still getting used to prioritizing control. I tried to attack that Morgul when I saw it was targeting somebody else. But it seems they do that at random. Nothing you can do about that, so just ignore that. Focus on the troll. Thought I saw somebody slip by, but it seems I was wrong. Or maybe they got her before. Could backtrack? I don't know. Anyway, Citadel Black Uruks. This is also a really nice detail that I enjoyed. Another throwback to the Mordor days when we were first introduced to Lhaereth and her fascination with blight and disease. So it makes a lot of sense, of course, to have Citadel Uruks, even though we are really far from Mordor. Well, maybe not that far, but still quite far. I mean, there is still a whole portion of the map that connects Mordor to Umbar that we still don't physically have. But yeah, these Uruks must have traveled a long way to be following Lhaereth. But I did enjoy this detail a lot as well. Not sure either how many waves we have before the second boss. Maybe another 4, 5. I didn't count them really. They go by relatively quickly, and they don't pose much of a threat. Again, at least on tier 1, it's not a big deal. Troll Crusher. This one doesn't stun, so not as important as the Demolisher, but it seems is still the top priority on this wave. You're ready. Don't remember what we were talking about before starting this wave. Maybe explaining the new troll? Not sure. You're ready to continue fighting, so that's what matters. As you have seen, I am running redline on this one. And that was that was my own choice. You know, I prefer Warden tanking. I would love to tank this at some point, but tanking is very demanding. You gotta know what you're doing. A lot runs on your back. If you mess something up and the entire raid suffers. So I decided to go redline for my first time to see what happens in the raid. I mean, there's a lot more room for error by being just DPS, so that's what I was aiming for. And I think I mean our tanks in the King are very good, so we were in really good hands. In fact, I'm not sure if I will be able to get a tanking spot in the King because plenty of tanks and all of them are really good. So maybe at some point I will get a chance, who knows? Still don't feel confident to ask for a tanking spot, basically. But hopefully I will get a chance sooner. And most of the gear that I got in the raid was tanking gear, so as of right now, my tanking gear is way better than my DPS gear, and from what I hear, Warden tank is in a better spot than DPS tank. So yeah, maybe I will get a good chance soon. Okay. The door opens. Is this the boss already, or do we need to fight another wave? Yeah. But I think this is the last one. Should be the last one. We have a fungal demolisher, which I believe is a little bit different than the regular demolisher. I'm not sure. Again, there were some explanations that I didn't get 100%. But again, when in doubt, just follow the target assist and you should be okay. One more Uruk to go. Down it goes. Oh, one more wave. My bad. Again, I didn't count exactly how many there were before each boss. So, just going by memory. Because we should be really close to the boss now. We didn't struggle much with this boss. I mean, we struggled more with the first boss than with this one. Can't believe it. I think by the time we reach this second boss, we were already sort of in the zone.
With mother's work. Die like the helpless vermin you are!
I remember you, Gondor. You and the Grey Cloak One continue to pursue me, I see.
He knows who we are.
Let them pass.
They may have the honor of
Question my newest experiment. Adagím's mother.
No idea where Lhaereth is. Can't see her. At least we can hear her, so we're not missing anything important.
Awaken, Malcolm!
Mother bids you use your new strength to destroy these intruders.
Malcolm, destroy for
Right, so we have the second boss. Again, we are getting the explanation of how this fight works. I'll be back with you when we are ready to actually start this fight. Okay, seems we are ready now. And there are many things to keep in mind with this troll as well. But I'm very fortunate because there were things I wasn't so sure about that really didn't affect me. At some point you get an eye and you need to take the eye away from the group and to the side of the boss, if I understood correctly, but there was some nuance to that I didn't quite get, but I was fortunate enough that I didn't get any eyes during the fight. Thankfully, there are some mushrooms that you need to interrupt. Those cascading mushrooms you need to interrupt. So you also gotta keep an eye on that. And tank keeps repositioning the boss depending on the eye placement, if I remember correctly. But again, I think this is the fight that I really need to practice more and to understand more. It was just burning the boss as fast as I could and interrupting the mushrooms when I got the chance. You see, there was an eye there. She goes to the side and gets rid of the eye away from the group. And in the meantime, we continue burning the boss as fast as we can. And keeping an eye open for the mushrooms. The blighted mushroom, if I remember correctly, there's nothing you can do with that one. Would just explode and deal damage. Not a lot of damage, and you just power through it. But you really gotta keep an eye out on the cascading mushroom and keep interrupting those. I think they buff the boss if you let them. You gotta be really careful with that one. Not sure if you still need incoming healing debuff on this boss. Not that I can remember, but I didn't retreat for the rest of the raid, so the boss is still getting some incoming healing debuff from me, which again, I'm not sure how useful it really is. Plenty of eyes. Maybe it's just me, but at times I really have a hard time seeing when I have an eye on me. And that was also important for the last boss. But thankfully, at least on tier 1, again, still get plenty of leeway plenty of time to move away. Maybe the higher tiers are more punishing with how fast you need to be to get rid of those eyes. But this here in tier 1, we really didn't have much trouble. Thankfully. Yeah, that's basically it. Just the boss and the mushrooms and the eye, but there's really not adds in here like we had with the previous boss. Just get the eye, move away, get rid of it, far from the group, interrupt the cascading blooms. That's it. And I think you really need to be grouped tightly to avoid or to better endure the damage from the blighted blooms and better manage your eyes and your puddles and everything. Stay behind the boss as usual. These guys are really strong. And this is just tier 1. Oh, you see, I got an eye over there. And yeah, I got rid of that puddle, but maybe I could have moved a little bit further. But as you can see, that puddle really doesn't stay on too much. So it was, I mean, it did work me just moving to the side to not hurt the group, but still be able to continue attacking the boss. So maybe that's what it is. course, if you are a ranged class, maybe you don't need to worry too much about that. Not the biggest fan of assailant. I don't know. Still have not tested it fully, but I do prefer melee. Might be just a matter of personal preference, but you see there the hunter is also moving to the side. But it doesn't seem to be a matter of range in here. We're about to get rid of the boss. And I didn't die. There's always a first one. I was really glad I didn't die on this one. Because boy. At long last I didn't die to a boss. Some of the mushrooms despawn.
What am I saying? We have to try. No one else might arrive in time to stop her. We must continue on, friends. Find a way to reach Lhaereth.
We got a blighted relic. It was really nice. And this, well, a rune and a bracelet that it's more of a healer bracelet. So I ended up giving it away to somebody else. Just linking it on chat, so whoever is interested can call this. But yeah, that was the second boss. Again, nothing too major. And well, that's 2 out of 4. Halfway through, we gotta go back to the central chamber. Get ready for the next wave.
She's here. She spoke to me. She remembers.
Troubling news. Irsinith has cleared the blight from the entry, should we need reinforcements.
We are nearer to the south, but I fear something else. You know us.
The intruders persist. Delay them, my children, while I seize my grand prize.
As you wish, mother.
Children of Lhaereth, attack!
That earring might have been good. Well, it's just physical mitigation, so we'll need to see how my stats are looking at, but I did pass on that one so that the current tanks on the raid could roll for it. Anyway, we need to get rid of these ads that have just been summoned so that we can make our way towards the third boss, the Legion of Light. I think there's like 2 or 3 waves that will attack you immediately after that conversation with Rhadhrog and Faeron, so you gotta be on your toes for that one. city of Uruks and Nervale again. Here comes the other wave. With another troll, so again, a demolisher that you need to prioritize. Sure why this place is so dark as you enter it, but there we go. And well, there are still a few waves that we need to defeat before reaching the third boss. I don't know, maybe the dark was intimidating some people. But you can cross safely. Anyway. Ready to continue a new wave. Why am I not attacking? I don't know. There we go. Throwbacks are a pain. I hope to stop with that. Those wounds are really nasty. You really need to dispel them as soon as you can. Again, the troll goes first. Get rid of him. And here we go. The third room. The third boss. We were caught in there. We took a break. I don't think we have had the fight explained yet. We're gonna enter the room and trigger the next bit of dialogue. The introduction of sorts to this fight.
Sisters, do you not think it unfair for the
chose which of us they would fight. Choose wisely.
Okay, there are 3 Merivale in there. We have already found on the other wings of the raid, hindering our progress, the Children of Lhaereth. As I said, you choose the order in which you fight them. You fight them separately, deal with all their mechanics, the ads and everything. And after you defeat the 3 of them separately, they will all fight you at once. You gotta deal with all the madness at once. So yeah, we're getting the fight explained, how each one of these bosses goes, what it's gonna be the order to fight them. So this one does take a while, but I'll be back with you when we can start fighting all these guys. Seems we are ready. We're gonna start with the right one. Gristir, the Night Shadow.
Allow me to show you.
Let me see if I remember what this one does. I think she's the one that applies those nasty wounds that you really need to dispel quickly. Let me see what else she does. So far, so good. Well, so far, attacks that you can easily avoid. But she does summon some ads that you gotta take care of. Gotta avoid those bottles. Then she summons this orb of blood that you also need to get rid of as quick as you can. Defeat the ads. And then move on to the blood orb. I'm not entirely sure what that blood does, to be honest. Just gotta get rid of it fast. Avoid your wounds. They are popping here and there. They are pretty nasty. We lost one of our LMs. That's pretty much it. New ads incoming. First boss retreats. We have some time before the second one comes to deal with the ads. Right? Okay, let's see what she does. As soon as I see some of her attacks, I will remember what we need to do with this one. So it seems she just summons more ads. She can summon trolls. You gotta keep an eye on that. And if there is a troll incoming, as per usual, you gotta get rid of the troll thing. There are some uruks as well, so yeah, just get rid of the ads. I think we need to interrupt inductions. That's what I get the floating names back on, but there's a lot of information when you turn them on and you can get distracted, so that's what I'm trying to avoid at any time I can. I guess I can go back to my UI settings and turn off some of the things we don't need, so that I can still have the floating names on, but don't have so much clutter on the screen. There's another blood orb that we need to defeat, destroy. So maybe that's just it. I think overall this one is this easy one. I mean, this is the one that you leave for last when you are fighting all three of them at once, Commander Mornan. Close calling there, but didn't die. That's cool, not dying again. Surviving 2 boss fights without dying. What? Is it Christmas already? Yeah, that seems to be it for this second. Yeah, she retreats, but we still need to defeat the ads. And hopefully before the third boss comes in, because she's the hardest. Yeah. Defeat the ads, get rid of the ads before dealing with the new things. And this one is the one that can summon the troll, and you can see all those lines of blood. When she does that, the raid needs to all group together, because each one will get a puddle. So what you want to do is get the puddles all to drop at the same spot and then move away as fast as you can. You can see that green line over there. She is summoning a spirit that will heal her. So that life force, you need to slow that life force and prevent it from reaching the boss, because if it reaches the boss, it will heal her. So you gotta slow the life force down, and then the tank will be moving the boss around the arena to avoid prevent the life force from reaching her. And after a while, that life force will disappear, and you can stop moving. So as you can see, we have trolls, we have all those puddles coming out at once, we have the life force. There's a lot of things going on with this lady. So that's why when we are fighting them all at once, you gotta take care of her first, because you really don't want to be dealing with all these for long. There's another life force coming here, and I think I tried to slow that life force whenever I have it in range. Like, it disappeared just as I was about to apply my slow. So yeah, there's a lot of things to deal with. It's this one, you see, we have another iteration of the puddles, but again, there's still room for improvement for all of us in here. Move away after the puddles drop. You still gotta be fast, but you don't want to spread them so much. And of course, saying all these after the fight is over, just watching the playthrough, it's easier than actually doing the thing when you are in the middle of the fight. So not trying to be overly harsh on the team or anything, because I think we all did a pretty good job and we were able to follow the instructions and everything, and I was making as many mistakes as everybody else. In some cases I was even making more mistakes than others. Because even though they have not run this particular raid as much and are still learning it, they still have run all the other raids extensively, way more times than I have. So overall, they are more experienced raiders than I am. I'm pretty sure we will all polish all these rough edges as we keep running the raid, and get clearer, smoother clears of all this. We still were able to complete this fight on our first try, but yeah, there are still things that we can improve. But you see, for example, our hunter was running towards the group to have all the puddles drop around the same area and then spread once again. So yeah, I'm still pretty happy with how things turned out. Everyone did their job pretty well. What I'm trying to say. This lady's pretty strong, has plenty of attack. Finally getting rid of her.
They have defeated us all. Perhaps we underestimated them. Then let us face them together.
Now we group in the center, all of them drop at once. They can still summon the ads. We still need to take care of the ads. But of course there is priority, and Agaris is a priority now. Because all her attacks are... Their attacks are the hardest of them all. But you see the puddles from the first sister, and ads from the second sister also coming here. But at this point, we just need to get rid of Agaris first before we worry about anything else, because we're getting the puddles, we're getting the life force, and you really don't want to deal with any of that. Next one is the Night Shadow, because she also drops some of those bottles in there. It seems the strategy here, I was misremembering, we really don't worry about the ads, and we just focus on the bosses. So Priester the Night Shadow is the second one we need to take care of. It's almost done. Like what, 10% now? Because you do end up taking care of the ads through AoE. Just focusing on the boss. At least that's what I'm doing. It's almost down. Really close now. There we go. We just need to take care of more now. There's a lot of stuff going on in this fight. I was so focused when I was actually doing it that I really didn't realize, but there's so much going on this fight. Especially when all 3 bosses come down to one. Even before then, there's a lot of things going on. I mean, this arena is filled with so many stuff. There we go. They go down, and I didn't die on this one either. So yeah.
You have wasted enough time escaping the Lhaereth spawn.
Agreed. We must not allow her to seize one of those grand prizes.
Their terrible presence again. It is near growing. It is near, and oh, I can't think.
A loud roar sounds from deep below, shaking the cavern.
Irsinith, are you alright?
Yes, but the sense of dread is overwhelming. I fear we may be too late.
We must press on! Cannot allow Lhaereth to loose this monstrous force on Murjala!
Irsinith, wait!
We cannot allow her to face Lhaereth alone.
Can we hope to stand against both Lhaereth and whatever else is down there?
I see no other options.
I got Treasury, really not that good. A really good necklace. And another blighted relic. That was awesome. Now we need to make our way to the fourth boss, and well, the last one. And this is the moment where what I said before comes into play. The ability of hearing what actually happens without needing to be in the room. So you don't have any visuals, but you can still know what's going on, because the strategy that we use for this one, there is still a long hallway leading you to the last boss. And in theory, there are enemies that you fight as you make your way through, but the strategy that we used in here is that anyone rushes to the boss and triggers the dialogue leading to the boss fight, so that everyone else can die to the enemies leading to the boss and respawn at the boss. So basically you just avoid a bunch of fights, and it's a pretty sound strategy. The only downside for us is that we missed what happens there. We still hear it, so if I'm not able to re-record that with me actually being there to see what happens, the best we can do is listening to what happens. So that's basically what I'm gonna do. The portal is over there. It's just that some of the kin lost their way and went the other way around. But you go through this portal, and plenty of people try to trigger the cutscene, so to speak. And I got a little confused as well. I wasn't sure, like, do I follow this group in here, or do I follow the group that is going the other way? But in the end, since Irsinith went through here, I figured, well, this is the way to go. It was really confusing. I mean, it was really... I was really nervous of taking the wrong turn, but in the end, I figured out, well, they are backtracking. It was just... In the end, it was just a shot in the dark. Which one was the right way to go? But yeah, this is the place, and this is where you need to run to the boss and trigger the dialogue. And I wasn't able to be there to actually see what happens, but at least we can hear what happens and assemble the puzzle in our head. So even though there's not much to see, there is a lot to hear. I'm gonna cut to that moment so that we can know exactly what happens down there, and we'll make our way down there and do the boss, basically. So this is the run that we're gonna make
There
for...
she is, the Lady of Blight.
Somebody else did it already.
What is that?
A Balrog.
A Kintai li tathraf uchuvol, a ddoeth alive, Citadel, a kiludi dorolod, a denith tad. Silence!
Hear me, Harayavol. Those of us who fought in Morgoth's name at the dawn of this world share a bond. Many of your brethren are gone. The elder dragons are gone. Even Sauron is gone. I beseech you, let those of us who remain join forces. Let us band together and claim what is rightfully ours. Dominion over Excellent. Let us start with them. You're meddling in.
And my affairs is at an end. Revenge will finally be mine.
Libud adamuma. Dadu adom. Rikha. You must defeat it, or it will destroy Urshala.
Zamâktar's roar shakes the earth beneath your feet. That means somebody has triggered the boss. So that's basically all that happened. Again, we couldn't see it because those fumes are really nasty and they take care of you really quick. But that's the idea. Somebody else avoid all this and triggers the boss. Hopefully the next time we do this, that will be me so that I can show you what actually happens there. But that's the big revelation of the raid, something I truly was not expecting at all. The fact that there is a Balrog in here. That we will be fighting another Balrog. That was so exciting. Just making our way through, hopefully avoiding the cloud spores, and here we are. We need to retreat after all those spores have disappeared, because otherwise this little shortcut is not going to work. So you can see there Zamâktar the Balrog. You might be able to take a better look in just a moment, but you can also see that Faeron, Irsinith and Rhadhrog have been caught up in some sort of mushroom blight thing. And I'm not sure who did it, if Lhaereth or Zamâktar. I would say Zamâktar did it, but I cannot be 100% sure. Zamâktar itself is caught up on the same thing, but his upper body is free, and that is how he attacks us. Now that the area is free of spores, we can retreat and appear here at the boss, which is what everybody else is doing. And yeah, they are caught in there, but I don't know exactly how that happened. But they cannot help us in this fight. Is basically it. And there you can see Zamâktar. I mean, that was so. Just taking a closer look at what actually happened to those poor guys, while everybody else prepares with their feast, me included. It's a very funny scene when you stop to think of it. And here we have Zamâktar the Putrescent, the last boss of this raid, a Balrog of all things. We need to fight some sort of Blight Balrog by the looks of it. So yeah, spoiler alert, it did take us many different tries to finally get this boss done, so I'm not gonna show you all our failed attempts, because what would be the point? Just gonna cut to the moment when we are ready to do the fight and actually finish the thing, to show you how we did it. Alright, this should be a good attempt. So we all grouping here before we start the fight. As you can see, I really need to repair. There's some jewelry that needs repairing as well. I didn't. I thought it would still be good through the fight, but some things did break in the middle of the fight, so I was fighting with sort of handicap. But the thing is that I did leave once to... I have already left once to repair by this point, and I didn't want to do that again. And there have been many really good attempts so far that we've been really close, like 10%, 8%, things like that. But it's a tricky fight, and again, there are a lot of moving pieces in here, many different things that you need to consider, that you need to keep an eye out on. And again, we were doing a really good job, but not quite there yet. Not until this one. But you will see what I'm talking about when we actually begin the fight, and you'll see how many things you need to be aware of. I mean, it's been a while since I did a fight that required me to keep an eye out on so many different things, and I really enjoyed it. One of the reasons why I enjoyed it so much. There were many different things to do. We, as a king, were all learning how to keep track of all that, and finally overcoming the fight was, oh my god, was so satisfying. So this sort of vile water that you see in there, it will apply a dot on you, but it will also apply a shield. You only get the dot as long as you are standing in there, but you keep the shield even if you step outside of it. And the shield lasts for 30 seconds, so what you need to do is keep entering and coming in and out of the water so that you can keep the shield up, but not the dot, because that shield will protect you from some of the boss attacks that hit really, really hard. I think you will see that in the fight in just a moment. There is a moment in which I take a really big hit that almost takes me down, and that's when I realize, oh shoot, I forgot to renew my shield. Thankfully I didn't die to that one. But that's just one of the many things that you need to keep in mind for this raid, for this particular boss fight. We did it with only one tank as well. So, as I understand, it's better when you can have two, but we were able to manage with just one tank, so that was also really cool. Final ready check, I believe it is. Ready to go, let's roll. I mean, at this point, we were all ready to have this done. It had been a very long night. Zamâktar's roar shakes the earth beneath your feet. So yeah, that's the start of the fight. Initially, Zamâktar is rooted by the Blight to the center area of the room. You just gotta keep fighting them, keep coming in and out of the water to get your shield. And at certain points, Lhaereth will come down. You might have seen it there to the right. She drops some mushrooms that can buff the boss for the entirety of the fight, and that can stack with each other. So you really don't want the mushrooms reaching the boss. So somebody just takes the mushrooms. When you grab a mushroom, you get a clicky skill, and you need to click that skill to consume the mushroom away from the boss so that it doesn't buff the boss. You can even buff the raid instead. You can get an incoming damage reduction, you can get an outgoing damage increase, and I don't remember which one the third one is. But if you get more than one of those at once before the effect dispels, you can wipe the raid. Happened to us once. On top of that, you are also getting eyes that will drop puddles, and you need to drop those puddles away from the raid. And you also need to be very aware of where you drop those puddles, because at some point the boss is gonna break free and move around the room, and you really don't want to have the puddles standing in your way. That can be difficult. And you can see me there coming in and out of the water constantly to renew the shield. You don't need to do it that often, but I mean, I'm already there, might as well. There are some effects that you really cannot dispel, cannot avoid. And that adds up to the difficulty managing everything here. There's Lhaereth again, dropping the mushrooms. I think the boss already has one of those mushrooms. The blue one that reduces the incoming damage by 10%, I believe. We're doing less damage than what we should be. And the thing is that the second phase is a DPS race. You have like 4 or 5 minutes to do it before wiping. And you see me here, I'm about to die because I had not renewed my shield. I remembered to do it just in time and got the heals. That was a close call. But yeah, the second phase, you really gotta defeat him as fast as you can, but you gotta be moving, you gotta be avoiding puddles and mushrooms. On the second phase, you don't need to worry about the shield anymore, but there's plenty of other things to take care of. Lots of ice in here as well. The Balrog has been freed. Move it out of the blighted waters to weaken it. So that's when we start worrying about positioning, because he will drop huge puddles that will deal lots of damage. So what happens is that he keeps moving, and at some point the entire room will get covered in puddles unless you defeat the Balrog first. And that's how the raid wipes if you are not fast enough. The idea is that you move it to one corner by corner, to keep as much space clear as you can. And in my case, I have switched now to assailment to avoid moving, and I'm worrying about the puddles as much as I can. But at some point we will need to move, because those puddles and boss drops are huge. All of us are now piling up on our target assist, and well, he was leading the raid at this point because he was the more knowledgeable of all of us. You can see that puddle drop on the first corner, a huge one. Move away. The tank needs to reposition the boss, and we continue our attack. Standing in the pile of water, so had the dot on me. It's not that big, but can still be a problem. And you of course want to stand behind it. It's like a truck. Lots of eyes we got in there. And that's something that you really need to keep an eye out on. Oh, I died. Because you cannot use group dispels in this fight, because you get a disease. And if when you, well, the eye is the disease, and if you dispel the eye, you drop a puddle. But if you are next to the group, everyone else will get another eye. So it propagates. So when you get a DI, you gotta move away from the group to drop the puddle, but to also prevent others from the group to get in the eye as well. So it's very important that you do not do group clears on this fight. And we were still getting used to that, so that's why you saw all those eyes pop up at once. Somebody used a full clear. You see one of my rings broke. I was wondering, how I use mythical points to repair this? Can I do this in the middle of a fight? But in the end, I just didn't want to waste my time repairing when we are on a timer to defeat the boss. So my DPS might have decreased a little, but I decided to just power through it and just keep focusing on the fight. And you can see now that there are way more puddles on the room. There's barely any room to stand in, free of the negative effects. And at this point we are just going as fast as we can because the boss drops this new puddle and there's not much we can do if he covers the entire room with his debuffs. You can maybe resist some of those, but there comes a moment where you have so many debuffs on you at once from all these battles that you cannot take it. You cannot heal through it. And I think I'm standing inside a puddle now because, yeah, there's nowhere left to stand now. We're just burning it as much as we can, as fast as we can. I think we already have Outbreakers in and everything. And down he goes at long last. Got a relic, I think, for clearing the deep.
Not again! I do not leave empty-handed, fools. This blight runs deep, and I will claim its source. Pray we do not meet again.
And light it, please, again.
She's gone. Is everyone all right?
It truly prevailed. With the Balrog defeated, and the Lady of Blight's forces removed, the Kintai should be able to seal the blight within this place. Adagím and the rest of our forest should begin to heal.
That is great news.
However, I believe Lhaereth's words were true. This was not the source of the blight. I can feel something else deep below the earth. Something dormant.
I am sure this is not the last we have seen of the Lady of Blight. But for now, let us rest and celebrate our victory.
So we completed the deed. We got pretty good looting here. I'm gonna show you in just a moment what I got. I got, well, 2 cloaks, a purple and a teal one, plus the blighted relic, but look, blighted axe. Someone got a cloth scrap that you need to use to get the armor. More cloaks. I saw a couple of gold traceries as well. Oh, I got an essence and the tracery. I mean, it was a really good loot pool that I got in here. And we completed the first deed. Vanquisher of the Folly of Nagakhêdi. You have defeated every foe within each area of the Folly of Nagakhêdi at tier 1. And now we can also complete the quest with Rhadhrog and Faeron, but you see here the tracery, the essence box, the 2 cloaks, which are tanking cloaks. This one is really good. But before I can replace or use it to replace my current cloak, I need to get a cloak essence. It will be a couple days before I can get a cloak essence, but getting close to that. And as I was saying, we can complete the quest with Faeron.
Greetings.
We have won the day, Beriathan. The Lady of Blight flees and her grand prize lies slain. Without the aid of you and your fellows, we would surely have met our ends in this pit. We owe you our lives, and the world owes you a debt of gratitude yet again. Take this time to rest and celebrate, and leave tracking Lhaereth to us. She will surely seek out the source of the blight, but not until after she licks her wounds and schemes in secret. We will seek you out when she makes her next move. Until then, thank you again, Beriathan. So that's also the big revelation in here. It's that Zamâktar was not the source of the Blight. So what is? I don't know. I thought Zamâktar would be, because I thought he was some sort of Blight Balrog. I think it would have sort of fitted the lore somehow, because Balrog is a demon, but a fire demon. But maybe there was some linguistic loophole to avoid using the fire. I don't know. But from the looks of it, that's not the case. Zamâktar was a regular Balrog that somehow got tainted by the Blight, as well as everything else in here. So now the question is, what is the source of the Blight, and what will we do? Destroy it and light it. It seems we are reaching, I hope it is, the final confrontation with Lhaereth, where we put an end to the Blight and we defeat Lhaereth for good. She stops escaping. The question now is, when is that gonna happen? Because we will be moving back to the north. We will be leaving these lands. So we have not taken care of the Blight yet. Maybe the elves can recover their forest, but we still need to take care of the Blight. And I don't think we will do that in update 48, because as I understand, update 48 will be closing Misade's storyline that we started in Crown of Hamad. We'll be confronting Barshuda as well. So this is a loose end that we still need to close, but I don't know when that's gonna happen. And I'm really curious as to what's gonna be the source of the Blight. What could it be that can even taint a Balrog of all things? We have the spear bonuses. That was a relatively nice tracery. I have the teal one on my javelin, so I think I can use this tracery that I just got to upgrade it. So that's what I'm gonna do. But yeah, that was it for the Folly of Nagakhêdi. We have basically completed the raid, but there are a couple things that I would like to do before ending the episode. And for that, we need to go back to the Nagakhêdi camp. So give me just a moment, and we'll get to the camp, and I will show you. Alright, so back from the Folly. By the way, forgot, Irsinith, Rhadhrog, and Faeron are still there, but who knows, maybe you can turn the quest outside the raid as well, in case you forgot. Makes sense. But in any case, since we already turned in that quest, we really don't need to worry about them. Who knows if... I mean, I hope we get a follow-up to all this thing and to find the source of the Blight. I mean, when that happens, I believe they will all move from the entrance to the raid to some other place. But who knows when that's gonna happen? Come on, die. As I was saying, there's just a few things that I want to do back in the camp. And, well, on top of that, the camp is a better place for us to end the episode than inside the instance. So that's what we're gonna do. The Warden Trader, we don't have anything to barter for yet. But what we can do with the Quartermaster...
How can I help?
First, complete the quest. You have brought light to the darkness and slayed many foul beasts within the ink depths of the Folly of Nagakhêdi. You will be rewarded for your brave and noble accomplishments. We get another relic, some reputation, some embers, some virtue XP, Awesome. So what do we have in here? Zeal is now level 142. So I did open the difficulty just to get some extra virtue XP, not a big deal, but I wanted really to cap Zeal. And there are some things we can do with the relics. But for now, I think our best bet is to upgrade our ring. Alright, I cannot barter. Containing slotted essences. Boy. Thankfully there's a bolt keeper right in here. So we don't lose any time with that. So this one? One slot. This one? It was a yellow essence anyway, so maybe we can update that one.
May nature's blessings find you.
As I was saying, we upgrade our rank. Make it level 570. This is really good. And other than that, I think we just gotta wait to get a couple more relics to see if there's something else we can do with that. But before I forget, I'll go back to my sequence. We get the updated ring in there. And well, that's pretty much it. Now we just need to wait for update 48 to release so that we continue our adventures in Middle Earth. But for the time being, that's truly all we can do. So I hope you have enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed this expansion. And well, glad we got the chance to showcase the raid before moving on. Thank you once again for the kin. Again, I had a lot of fun with the raid, learning with them, our first clear as a kin. So I'm really glad I was able to be a part of that as well. I just realized that I have recorded a couple more raids with a kin that I have not uploaded to the channel. I have done the Remorse Hunt and I have the Bloody Threshold. I'm not that happy with how that video turned out, but it's still there. I can upload it if I don't get the chance of re-recording that one. I think I also have Andal recorded. I've done some raids with them that I have not uploaded to the channel yet because it takes some extra work to get them ready, because you need to record the raid and then you record the comment and then you need to edit them together and cut what all the dead air and the audio mixing and a lot of stuff that, I mean, been a little bit lazy with that. But if you want me to upload some of the other raids that I have recorded, let me know and I will get to them and do the extra work required to upload it. But for the time being, this is truly the end of it until the release of update 48. So that will be it on my part. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed and I hope to see you on the next one. Until then, my friends, stay safe, take care. Good luck to you all, and I will see you later.